Hi there, greetings everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. This is a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're here to do the show that we do on Tuesday night, which is a mini series entitled One Question. So on One Question, we have Ben, my subscriber. He gives me a question and then I just basically answer it. So the question he gave me for this week is, give me the 10 best albums released in the late in the careers of these classic rock bands. So to me, the classic rock bands are the ones that kind of were around from the 60s through the 70s and a few of them into maybe into the early 80s. And then you started getting some other bands that did okay, but I don't really call them classic bands. So bands like IQ, as much as I like them, and they would be on this list, um, I decided not to put them in here. So I picked out 10 albums. It's actually harder than I thought because basically I didn't do any albums that I wasn't familiar with. So if I wasn't familiar with the album, I wasn't going to do it. Uh, some albums by classic bands that um, either I didn't really like or I didn't think were that great, or they may have been okay, but I didn't think they were outstanding. So I left out a few bands for that reason, and I stayed only with bands and not with solo artists. So you're not going to see John Anderson here with his band of geeks. So I apologize for that, but I don't really see him as a classic rock band. Great artist though. Anyway, so I've got the 10. Good to go here. This will be a little bit late and pretty close to exhausted today. I was supposed to go somewhere tonight, but I decided I just didn't have the energy to get it out done. So I'm going to do this though. I have enough energy to do this. I've been thinking about it most of the day, actually for about a week since he gave me the question, I was thinking about it. Some of them were obvious right away, some of them not so obvious. A couple of them, um, there was two or three here that I thought about including, but a couple of them I decided, yeah, I don't think they're quite good enough to get on this list. And then one I added because I can't I can't say it isn't that good. I do like it. It's been my playlist for a while. So, anyways, and the other prerequisite here is I tried not to go back, like when they say late in their history. I tried not to go back too far back into this century. Tried to stick with ones who are at least within the last 10 to 12 years. There's a couple that I had to put in here because they were the last albums by the band. So I think you got to kind of give them their due. So we're going to start with the first one. This will be my number 10, um, Mirror to the Sky from Yes. I almost didn't include this because I think it's a good album. I also think that Yes will probably do another album. But, of the albums they did put out in the last 5 to 6 years. This one I think is the best one, and it's got a great album cover. The stuff is pretty good on here too. Pretty strong album. It's a better comeback than its predecessor, and so I wanted to give it a little bit of attention for for nothing other than just the music is pretty strong and the album itself looks pretty good. I still don't really understand why they put it on two CDs. It could easily stuck it on one. But anyways, Yeses. Mirror to the Sky will be number 10, sorry. Number 9, this is an album that did very well for me initially. Hasn't still stood up quite as well um and since it came out a couple of years ago, but definitely a big standout album for this legendary band, making yet another comeback here. The Rolling Stones, Hackney Diamonds. It's a good album. Pretty solid. There's half a dozen songs on here I think are really good. This is maybe the best thing they put out since going back to the early 80s. So that's my number 9. Number 8 comes from a band that I've loved a long time. I don't think this is an outstanding album by any stretch, but it has a feel like it was on their very first album. just better production and stuff. I thought it was a good, solid album. Surprised me how much I liked it. And we're talking about 13 from Black Sabbath. Yeah, I think this album very good. Is it as good as some of their classic stuff? Probably not, but for a late album by a legendary band, still really good. So that's my number. Is that number 8? Number 8, yep. Number 7. This is an album that is getting ready to go in my playlist. I've listened to it though. Any chance I can squeeze it in there, I still listen to it even though it's not in there. Produced by Bob Ezrin. Really solid album. I could have even went with the most recent album they put out, which is still really good too. But for some reason, I really like this one a lot. Infinite from Deep Purple, and their last album, One. I think it's called One. Actually, was really good as well. So it could have went with either one. I decided to go with this one today. So that's my number 7. I think. Well, that's number. Yeah, number 7. I was right. Next one is a little bit older. They have had another album come out since this album, but I don't own it and I haven't listened to it, so I can't really say too much about it. This one is currently in my playlist and doing very well. I really like this. I think this is going to end up being one of their best albums with me, and that's Iron Maiden's Book of Souls. It's a double album too. I normally don't really care much for double albums, but this one is one of the exceptions to the rule. Came out in 2015, so it's about 10 years ago, but still far enough along in the career of this wonderful band to put it here. Iron Maiden was kind of at the edge of how far back in the classic, but you had to include them as a classic band because they've had such a huge run of albums and very well known uh, Hall of Fame band, iconic in every sense of the word. So I had to put them in here. So this will be my number 6. Book of Souls probably would do better if I'd had it in my playlist longer. It probably would be higher up on this list, but for now it's moving up and it's in the number 6 position here. So we've got, was that 6? No, that was 5. No, that was 6. Sorry, getting confused again. So we have 5 left. These ones I think easily finished in the top. All of these are really good, great albums, I think. We'll start with number 5 here, Styx's Crash of the Crown. Now they do have a new one coming out, and I suspect they'll probably have a few more before they're done, maybe 1 or 2 more anyways. But this one is great. My only complaint, I love the cover. I love all the songs. The vocals are great. The harmonies are fantastic. The songs are catchy. The only thing is a little bit on the short side, this tracks. There's 15 on here, but still really good album. I think it competes well with most of the rest of the Styx discography. Maybe make a top 5 album for them, anyways. So that's my number 5. Number 4, final album by my favorite band, Rush, Clockwork Angels. Now, this album didn't do particularly well. When I first got it, I had a hard time with Geddy's voice. Kind of wasn't listening to the album much and stuff. It took a good 5 or 6 years before I started really listening to this. But after I got into it, I really quite like it a lot. I think it's a strong finish for a legendary band. Definitely great. So, but it's a little close to that edge of that line as far as late in the career. Well, it's late in the career of Rush, but it's been almost over a decade now since this came out. So, but still really good, solid album from 2012. Rush's final album, Clockwork Angels. We've got 3 more. So that was number 4. Number 3, this was an album that came out for me last year and absolutely has become one of my favorite albums by the band. It's got really good, clear sound. I think the vocalist still has everything you need to be, and it's hard to believe this guy could really sing like this at this age. But just a fantastic group of songs on here. Did pretty good on my playlist as well. We're talking about Invincible Shield by Judas Priest. Actually, fantastic album. Love it a lot. So that's my number 3. Number 2, the final studio album from a legendary band Some people would say this is not great, but they're wrong. This is a great album. Definitely a top 3 or 4 album by this band for me. The Who's self-titled 2019, I think it was. 2019. Yeah, 2019 release. The last album they will ever do, probably, in all likelihood, unless something changes. But just a fantastic album. Their 12th studio album, The Who's self-titled. And the #1 album, this shouldn't surprise anybody who watches my channel and knows how much I love this album. It's my favorite album by this band. It's also their most recently released. Um, this album came out in 2022, so a good 50 some years since their first album. But this one is great. Chaos in Color from Uriah Heep. I love this album. Everything about it I love. I love the album cover. I love the texture and the sound and the production on this is great. And the tunes are even better. Like just great Uriah Heep album. So that's my #1. So I'll give them to you again in order just in case I screwed it up, which is a good likelihood because I'm a little bit cross-eyed right now. Uriah Heep, Chaos in Color, #1. #2, the self-titled final album by The Who from 2019. Judas Priest, #3. Invincible Shield from 2024. Clockwork Angels from Rush, #4. This is from 2012. Styx's Crash of the Crown from 2021. That's my #5. #6, Iron Maiden's The Book of Souls, which came out in 2015, so about a decade old now, but still really good. And they've got another one that came out since. Eventually I'll get it. Maybe it'll replace this one. I don't know. From 2017, Deep Purple's Infinity, or Infinite. I think it's called Infinite. And they have a couple others that have come out since then. One's a collection of covers, and then the most recent one last year was really good too. So that's my #7. #8, Black Sabbath's 13. The Rolling Stones, Hackney Diamonds from 2 years ago. This is #9. That was #8, not #15. And then, yes, in the 10th spot, Mirror to the Sky. Mirror to the Sky is a good, solid album. I'm hoping Yes will put out another album. It would be nice if they would put one out with John Anderson. As much as I like John Davidson, I do like him. I just think that the combination of Steve Howe and John Anderson write better music. But I don't know. John Anderson's doing pretty good on his own, and I don't think he needs any help. He's probably putting out just as good a Yes album as anybody is. So that's my 10. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'm going to upload it now. It might be a little bit late coming out, but don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. That's much appreciated. If you want to talk in the comments about any of the albums I've chosen, or maybe you just want to put your own 10 classic rock band albums that you think are great from coming out late in the band's career, you could do that as well. I mean, I didn't include IQ or Marillion or any of those bands because even though I think they're probably close to that line, I don't really think of them as a classic band. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this, and we will see you tomorrow night with another, well, not tomorrow night, we'll see you next week with another episode of this mini series featuring one question put out by Ben and me. I hope to see you then. And before I forget the hell what I'm talking about, I'm going to let you go. So take care and have yourself a good evening. Goodbye.